Hello, welcome back to the channel again. Now we are going to start with engineering science. Now the first thing before I start with engineering science that I would like to teach you guys is to understand this. Because when you are dealing with problems and when you are dealing with forces that has to be in an inclined plane, these forces tends to have two components, the horizontal and the vertical component. So it tends to disturb students a lot to either calculate any of those components depending on the direction of the force. So I'm here to make you to understand better on how to use the cos and the sine to get those horizontal or vertical forces. Now, if you are being asked in kinematics, you are being asked that a car is traveling 60 kilometers per hour due east north 30 degrees. Now due east north 30 degrees. Notice where I said east north, 30 degrees. It means my angle will start from the east right up to the north, 30 degrees. So I'll actually draw this angle from here right up to here. So this is it. Now it can also be reversed that it is traveling due northeast 60 degrees. Now, how do you know that it's the same? Simply, it's because this is 60. That means the both of these has the same angle at which they incline. Now, let's take for example, let's just remove this one and let's leave that. Now, you are asked to calculate how fast is the object moving towards the north. How fast is the object moving towards the north? So you recognize that as this object is moving towards this direction, you see that the y-axis, we call it the north, is increasing. And the faster it goes, you see that the x-axis, we call it the east, is also increasing. So now, many students find it difficult to calculate how fast the object is moving towards the north. So let's see. How fast the object moves towards the north. Good. So what you need to know here is you need to understand the positive or the negative side at which you are working. So to understand this plane, you have to know that in everything you see in this, crossing this boundary, around this zero, crossing this boundary of x is a positive. So let's come to this place. We call this the first quadrant, the second quadrant, the third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant. So in any case that a force has to fall under the first quadrant, you have it both positive. Both the x and the y positive. X positive, y positive. Now, the second quadrant you have here, now remember it has crossed this line for x, so it's coming this direction now. So here it has to be what? X negative, y positive. Then here it has to be x negative, y negative, because it has crossed y negative. Here it has to be x positive and y negative. That is it. So this is the first quadrant. In any way you see forces here, you know that, okay, now any force that is going towards the y direction is positive, and any force that is going towards the x direction is positive. Now here in this quadrant, in any force that is going the y direction is positive, the x direction is negative. Same as here and same as here. So let's move forward to understanding this basic. Sorry, I will just use my one to. Now you are asked to how fast the object moves towards the the north. Notice this is the speed. This is how fast it's moving towards the east, north. Now, to calculate how fast it's moving towards the north, we need to look for what? This force. So, also calculate how fast it's moving towards the east. This is 1, this is 2. How fast the object moves towards the east. Now, for you to calculate something like this, you actually need to understand you actually need to understand that for us to get the y-axis for this plane, we actually have to what? Actually use our cosine rule, sine or the cosine rule. For us to get the x-axis, you actually use the sine or the cosine rule. Now, let's look for it. Now, how fast is going towards the north? So this implies that now we are looking for this. Simply, the simplest way I'm going to tell you is, okay, what is the sign of this quadrant? It's positive towards the right because this is moving forward. So it's positive. Now, look at what is happening. Sine 30 degrees, né? Multiply by 60. For you to get what? That how fast it's moving towards the north. So this implies that equation 1, which is plus, did you see, is sine, né? Because it's moving forward. Or you can simply come, you write it in this manner, plus 60, then sine 30. There you have your answer. Sine 30 is simply 0.5 multiplied by this. You are going to get 30 kilometers per hour. That is how fast it's moving towards the north. Now, how fast is moving towards the east? So here is equation 2. So it's going to be, now notice that in the x-plane, this is cos 30, 60. Now you put this. So you're actually going to have plus 60. Okay, for some of you might be confused because this 60 is behind. You might take it as an angle, but I will simply just put it here. 60, sorry, cos 30 and plus 60 sine 30. Now, so it's going to be positive 60 cos 30. This will give you